I'm Tom Campbell from... This is stuck to the back of your title card.
Fine.
Is that always there? It's clever, isn't it? I'm Tom Campbell from Cultaholic.com. He's Adam Pacitti. Let's do some news. I might have had that planned for about an hour and a half. Becky Lynch has criticised WWE creative. We have a huge confirmed match for SummerSlam. And which WWE Hall of Famer will never wrestle again? Find out soon. So Becky Lynch has been chatting again. I don't know whether you've heard, Adam Pacitti, but Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins are in a relationship.
No!
I know. They've kept it proper on the QT. Can't get over it. So Becky Lynch has been chatting with TalkSport about the way her relationship has been handled on television, and I'm getting a relatively unhappy vibe about it, Adam.
Understandably so. Understandably so. Let's read the quote. She says she was apprehensive. What she didn't want was everybody talking about the relationship. Tom. What she wanted was two badasses fighting side by side, not for the world to be reminded every 5 minutes that this is Becky Lynch's boyfriend or that's Seth Rollins' girlfriend, which of course they didn't do. They were the masters of subtlety.
You can smell the sarcasm on that last bit, can't you?
Yeah. To me, it's completely reasonable. It was shoved down our throats, and it's taken something away, more so from Becky Lynch, I'd say, because Seth Rollins has never been cool, and I'll stand by that and say that for a long time. But it feels like, yeah, the straight fire is gone, and they are just a couple of dweebs, less so in Becky's case. But like for Seth Rollins this week on Raw to be getting beaten down by Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar to be the one who's cheered, says a great deal, and I really do think it's largely to this. It's subtlety goes a long way in that we're not stupid. You don't need to reference this stuff all the time. We're not thickos. So yeah, I understand her frustration because it feels like she was the biggest deal in pro wrestling. And she's not. The man that you just showed, Mojo Rawley, is.
Obviously. So you think the relationship has actually watered her down then?
I don't think the relationship, the portrayal of the relationship by WWE for sure. Yeah, I mean, it looked like they were having a lot of fun on house shows. I've seen the stuff that they're doing on house shows with the dance. What's the thing?
The lift from...
Footloose, Dirty Dancing. Dirty Dancing. Nailed it. So it looks like they're having fun there, and that's fine because it's all non-canon house show stuff. But then when they get on TV and it's just these constant reminders, the mixed tags that have taken something big away from the main event scene. I really get her frustration here.
Ho, it's time to rock and or roll. Not necessarily in that order. Trish Stratus and Charlotte Flair confirmed for SummerSlam 2019. After all the rumour and innuendo, Adam Pacitti, it is a match and it is now indeed a thing.
Yeah, who does Vince McMahon have the biggest boner for? Generational classic. Two wonderful blonde women, two great wrestlers as well. I'm not taking anything away from them there. But at the same time, I'm not sure it's Charlotte Flair who should be getting the rub of a Trish Stratus match because she's had every accolade going. She's a billion-time world champion. She ended Asuka's streak. Poor Asuka. Let's not talk about Asuka. The less said, the better. So, yeah, I'm not sure this benefits Charlotte Flair much.
One person that a match with Trish Stratus could have benefited would have been Bayley. Yeah. And Bayley put out the challenge to Trish for this week. Well, that got delightfully retconned, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just quietly not mention it. Just.
And WWE were pushing it. It was one of their videos, wasn't it? I remember them retweeting it. So it's bizarre for them to do that and then just take it away. But I guess that speaks volumes for WWE, especially yesterday. Once again, with SmackDown, Vince McMahon rewriting the episode just before it happened. I saw on social media there was a 6-man tag announced. The OC versus all 3 members of the New Day. Like 2 hours before. It was within an hour that match had been changed to just a singles match, Kofi, AJ with them at ringside. You can't advertise stuff like that and then just pull it. It takes the piss. Imagine if any other TV program did that. I'm very passionate this morning.
It's with any line of work. Imagine if you worked at a coffee house and suddenly, like, you're set up for the day, and at 8:55 the guy walks in and goes, "We're running a chippy now. Get the fryers on." But that's pretty much what happens. Vince shouts, "Get the fryers on," and we all write new wrestling shows.
Maybe just have these meetings 4 hours earlier, so you don't advertise stuff for that night show, because that's the issue here. It's fine if stuff's changed, if we don't know about it, but we know about it, and it just... Oh, it's very, very frustrating as a viewer. So that match is announced for SummerSlam anyway.
SummerSlam shaping up to be quite the party. 10 matches in total announced.
Right,
So
I'm going to run down these,
yeah.
and you're going to give me a number from 1 to 5 on the Campbellometer of how excited
So
you
the
are.
Campbellometer is 1 being uncambled and 5 being incredibly cambled.
Yes.
Excellent.
Okay.
Comment below what you are.
So, number 10. We're going to do this as a list as well. So I'm going to do my wanky list voiceover voice as well, my YouTube voice.
Mate, this is a dream.
Right.
Before I worked at Cultaholic, I was a fan of Cultaholic. So to sit next to the wanky Adam Pacitti voice as it happens, oh, it's a dream. Go for it.
Number 10, Charlotte Flair versus Trish Stratus.
4.
Oh, goodness me, okay.
Yeah, bring that noise.
Number 9, Sami Zayn versus Aleister Black.
Oh, 4.1.
Okay, good. You're a very positive man here. Number 8, The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler. Okay. Number 7, AJ Styles versus Ricochet for the United States title.
3.7. They've done it loads, and the TV matches have been a bit meh. So give them half an hour and give me the world.
Number 6, Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt.
5.
Oh,
I
yes.
want to see the Fiend. I want to see
Oh,
what they
yes.
do with this. Don't ruin it.
Isn't
You've
it-
done so well. Don't ruin it.
Isn't it weird that that's the match that I think everyone's most excited for, yet it's the most predictable match on the card?
Yeah.
Isn't that nuts?
Because they've built this wonderful sandcastle, and I'm just scared that Vince is just going to kick it down and build a chippy.
Don't even suggest it. Number 5, Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon. If Kevin Owens loses, he quits the WWE.
20 years on from the lover or leaver match, I think this could still be a good thing. I'm giving it a 4.2.
Number 4, Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton for the WWE title.
They've really tried to make me care about this, but it's a 3.9.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, they've tried to make me
You
care
don't
by
care,
going.
but it's still a 3.9.
Yeah.
Piss off, Tom, and you having a laugh. Number 3,
Good
Bayley
match.
versus Ember Moon for the WWE SmackDown Women's title.
3.5.
You're more excited for... Okay, yeah, no, I think that's reasonable. Number 2, Becky Lynch versus Natalya for the Raw Women's title.
Do you know? Yeah, 3.8. They've made me care. Natalya is blows so hot and cold. Like Becky Lynch has genuinely worked really hard to make that happen. So yeah, I'm alright about that.
And number 1, Brock Lesnar versus little bitch Seth Rollins for the WWE Universal title.
That's probably the 2.8.
Wow, that's the least you're
That's my
excited
lowest.
for. Wow.
That's my lowest. I think.
Over-
Oh no. Miz and Dolph Ziggler, I'm the least excited about.
thank you very
Sorry,
much.
lads on tour.
There you
but
go.
like with that one, it's just like I think because Seth is becoming so unlikable, and so it's like who wins, the guy we really don't like or the guy who's never here? It's like, which of these douches at a party do you hate the most?
There's part of me that's thinking, hey, maybe, just maybe, the Seth Rollins thing wasn't to build him up as the ultimate underdog babyface on Monday of him getting completely trashed. Maybe it was for him to be pulled from the match and replaced with, I don't know, Matt
Mike
Riddle.
Kanellis,
No,
a
not
slightly less slightly less cuck-worthy than Seth Rollins. Chris Sabin, you cheeky little chimp, putting on Twitter that you're hanging out in Orlando, putting on a little picture of a part of a WWE logo. Ah, you cheeky little monkey. It turns out that Chris Sabin's trip to Orlando was to be a guest coach at the Performance Center, Adam Pacitti.
Don't get me wrong, I can't think of too many people who would be a great guest coach at the Performance Center. But at the same time, I got my hopes up when I saw that. And I shouldn't have done, because it was a PC logo that you put on there. Pacitti Club. No, Performance Center logo. It was a Performance Center logo, and I was just like, oh man, this is amazing. Maybe, just maybe, he's been signed. Because Motor City Machine Guns, literally my favourite TNA tag team ever. I was watching back the other day, them versus Generation Me. It was 2010, and I want to say Final Destination, Turning Point. It was just such a good match, so ahead of their time. And yeah, I just, Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley are the best. But yeah, I mean, what else do you say about this?
I'm over the moon to see him there because Chris Sabin's had a really tough year. Back in January, he actually suffered a really bad injury that's knocked him out of the game for the better part of the year. He's now on the verge of coming back, and part of that sort of recovery from his ACL has been, doing some stuff at the Performance Center. I don't think he's working at the Performance Center, but the fact that he's offering his knowledge of wrestling, I think if anything's going to put the fire back into you before you return to active wrestling, it's going to be spending some time with the next generation of them. Because I always feel quite inspired, because in my previous existence I was a radio presenter, and I always liked when I got to spend time with younger presenters, because that kind of lit a fire under me again and reminded me how much I love to do what I do. And I think Chris Sabin, hopefully, will get the same from doing stuff at the Performance Center. That awkward moment when it comes crashing down and it hurts inside, brother, that moment was dealt with on the Stone Cold podcast this week. Steve Austin's guest, finally, the immortal Hulk Hogan. These two spent 2 and a bit hours together at the Raw reunion, chatting about everything. Hogan talked about having his leg broken by Matsuda, talked about how his first couple of wrestling matches, apparently he didn't know kayfabe.
Talked about how he pitched a heel turn in WWE, which I can just about believe maybe, but also said that he pitched the name Hollywood Hulk Hogan, which is bollocks, Terry, isn't it? Let's face it.
Big Tez.
Take it, not with a pinch of salt, a bucket load of salt, this podcast.
File it in fiction, you'll have a lovely time. One of the things he does talk about is a potential return to wrestling. Now, I think many other people probably aren't chomping at any bit to see Hulk Hogan return to wrestling, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen anyway. To quote from Hulk Hogan on the Steve Austin podcast, I went for 1 back surgery and it turned into having 9. I went to a place called Laser Spine. They cut me 6 times and they basically took me out of the game. They told my new wife Jennifer I'd never walk again after the 6 surgeries. It took me 3 more 12-hour surgeries to get up on my feet, rolling again. So he's back up on his feet and he's living a healthy life. It just means that he's not going to wrestle again.
I love this guy. It sounds so insensitive following what you've just said there.
Yeah, it's fine.
So you can chant 1 more match all you want. It's not going to happen. I haven't heard that chant. But sure, you know what? I don't want to see another Hogan match. I don't really think there's even much to be gained from it, because it's not like it was Hulk Hogan 10, 15, 20 years ago where a win would mean something. Everyone knows that he's just an old knackered bloke. And I'm not taking anything away from Hogan. Obviously, like, growing up, Hogan was the man. Everyone knows that. But at the same time, even a younger guy going over Hulk Hogan, it just doesn't feel like it would mean that much, because he's not Hulk Hogan of yesteryear. There's
nothing to gain from doing it now. Even years ago, when it was announced that Sting was going to face Hogan in TNA. Even this was years ago. Even then I went, oh no, oh no. And then the match happened and we all went, oh no, stop it. So the fact that, like, I didn't want it to happen then. We're now like 7 or 8 years down the road. Definitely don't want it to happen now. Glad he's living a healthy life and he's doing all that, but just nah.
I think this might be the biggest fictional part of the podcast, by the way. Despite what he said, when that Saudi Arabia money comes a knocking, that leg drop is going to start to drop in. It really wouldn't surprise me.
And it's on that bombshell. I don't have an outro. Here's Adam Pacitti saying, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave some comments.
Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. You can follow us on Twitter at Cultaholic. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. If you enjoy what we do here at Cultaholic, you can pledge to us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Cultaholic. And most importantly, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us.